No. Okay, we're ready. Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. This is Mark Kleiser, planner with the Planning and Building Department, and I'm calling the December 13th, 2023 Archaeological Commission to order at 2:00 p.m. And I am going to continue this evening. I'll be grateful one of our commissioners. I will continue this until 2:12 p.m. So we'll see you in a minute.
Can you turn him up?
Mark, can you turn your volume up?
I don't know how to do that. I can turn my volume up, but I don't know if it's going to help me. Or that microphone. I apologize, guys. I'm so sorry about that.
Mark, can you turn your volume up?
Uh-oh.
You might be able to turn it up down there in the lower right corner. There's a little icon. You gotta hit it.
Is there room for me?
Yes, we're saving a seat, I think.
That's the hard seat.
Guest
Must
of
be the
honor.
holiday session.
Can you get through there?
I think you gotta tell William Cole to mute his mic. I think that's where we're getting all this feedback. I don't know, maybe it's us.
Or if you just turn the volume off of the laptop, I think it'll.
Oh, there we go.
How's that?
Yeah.
Good call.
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
You guys have a phone extension over there, a chance to call IT, the phone here doesn't seem to work.
I'm sorry?
I just got a bubble back from IT with this.
I can't even hear him.
He's
I want you
asking,
to call IT.
or he's talking to somebody
Oh.
in there.
Okay.
I think he's talking to somebody.
IT.
My son does IT stuff, and I don't understand 98% of what he says. It's like, just tell me what button to push.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My grandchildren advise me.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
I know.
These two.
And every time, it's like just a credit union, it's like they're switching over to another digital thing. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And all these passwords and all this username, and oh, you can't use that password, but somebody else has already hacked into it, and
Yeah, I love it when it goes somewhere and says, we've changed our look. Oh,
And then
great.
Bank of America has got, I mean, there's nowhere to go to talk to a human.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, sad but true.
Oh.
Where's Mark?
Fort Bragg.
Fort Bragg.
Well, I see him there. He's in a little square box now.
He's having troubles. You have to listen really hard. His volume's not very high. And I guess Lindsay's not gonna join us today, is that?
She's right there. I don't know why she's not.
What's the little red thing with a line through it?
That's a muted, they're muted.
Oh, okay, it's a microphone, I see.
See the little audio icon down in the lower right-hand corner of the big screen? Can you click on that and adjust it?
This one?
No, it's now,
I just covered-
move your mouse, you gotta go off, you gotta go up and, it's covered by that arrow right now.
Oh.
There you go, now it's there. There you go, so you can push that up to 100.
Mike? Mark? Mark? You're muted.
Hold on a second. Yeah, I'm trying to work through this. There's a cord here that's not plugged into anything, John, and I just.
Uh-oh.
Not that cord.
Do you get a memo? Do you have this memo?
It's a good thing we didn't look at Fort Bragg and expect to be on the video.
We could have done that?
I don't know, it seems like we could have, right? I'm not sure. We might have been over the attendees like Shelby is, right? But no, I think that's where we would have been. Unless we went to Fort Bragg in the conference room or sit next to Mark.
You can't just do it from home?
Well, I don't think if we did it from home, we wouldn't be able to say anything, we just could watch.
No, you can come into the meeting.
Oh, you can?
Really?
Can you?
Just get a Zoom app and,
Yeah, I just bring them in. They just have to raise their hand.
So we could have done that.
Yeah, we could have done that.
Well, it's a nice day, it was a lovely drive, and War Springs Road is beautiful and windy.
oh my, you came that way, yeah.
Yeah, it only takes an hour and a half.
Really, it's not any shorter or any longer than doing 20 and Willits that way?
It's, I think it's shorter than going from Mendocino to here is longer by Willits, I think.
They have that situation now, and that's the regular situation, is that there's just not enough fresh water coming down the river
Mhm.
Right.
to
Bust it open.
bust it open.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get a lot of rain next week, so,
But do they ever mechanically bust it open?
just illegally now.
Yeah,
Just illegally?
and if you do that, you gotta run real fast.
Yeah.
And I guess some guy who owned a chemical plant used to do it, and, there's just a lot of stuff in the water now. A lot of
Yeah.
lead and
Yeah.
chemicals and stuff
damn.
like that.
So why do people open it? Because their homes are threatened?
They wanna use the road, I assume.
You know, I think it opens naturally.
Yeah, the river will wash the
Eventually.
gravel out,
Yeah,
Eventually it'll do.
and I assume that probably old landowners with bulldozers used to open it just to keep the road open.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
but I never understood why there's literally laws, it's like, I think somebody was complaining to Park and Rec, and they said, it's not up to us.
right.
It's
Right.
like, Army Corps of Engineers, and, I mean, there's a
Yeah,
lot of
so Fish and
agencies.
Wildlife.
Yeah, there's a lot of agencies.
Yeah.
The same situation prevails at the mouth of the Russian River, down near Jenner.
Jenner, yeah.
And they do mechanically open it because there are property owners bordering the lagoon.
They're wealthier property owners down there.
Probably.
Yeah, that's probably.
And they lobby hard to have it open.
Yeah.
Okay, hi everyone, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, I have no camera, so we're gonna have to do this on the fly. So Jim, whenever you're ready to go.
We're ready.
Okay, you all right?
Yep.
Okay, good afternoon, welcome back. This is my pleasure again, planner with Planning and Building Department, calling the December 13th, 2023 Archaeological Commission meeting to order at 2:14 p.m. Before we begin the meeting, we want to acknowledge with respect the indigenous people on whose ancestral lands we hold this Archaeological Commission meeting and whose historical relationship with that town flag continues to this day. So moving on then to item 1, which is roll call. Planning and Building Services, myself, I'm present. Museum representative? Here. Archaeologist representative? Present. Native American representative?
Lois.
Native American, he asked for
Here.
Native American.
Oh, sorry, here,
Oh, and
Can't hear you, Mark.
Here.
you're breaking up.
CDC representative? Okay, moving on to item 2 then. The applications listed below will be reviewed by the Archaeological Commission. You are invited to each meeting on uses and provide any information pertinent to these applications. If you have photographs of the site, you are encouraged to email them to the above email address by 2 p.m. on December 13th, 2023. And that brings us to to item number 3, survey required. So the first item we have is case number CDPM 2023-0004. The owner is Karen and Lee Beck. The agent is Douglas Losak. And the request is a modification of CDP 2004-0049. The construction of a 2,028 square foot single family residence instead of the approved 5,000 square foot single family residence. And it is located on the location of the existing building barn on site. The project is located approximately 2.5 miles northeast of Green Lane and approximately 0.25 miles east of Highway 1. And is located adjacent to the Eagle Mills Cemetery. It is addressed to 26585 North Highway 1, parcel number 069-06026. And Jim, do we have anyone there in the public wishing to comment on this item?
Yes, we do. Mr. Losak is here. And I think Shelby's on the line also.
Okay, excellent. So, Mr. Woodcock, do you have any comments to make before we bring this to the commission for discussion?
My name's Doug Losak, and I represent the Trepties in this matter. And just want to point out that this was approved, the initial CDP was approved 2004 or so, and it was a much more extensive approval or development than what's actually gone on there. As it says, there was a 5,000 square foot home. There was also tennis court, fences, I believe a sauna, and many other things that were planned to be built on that property. And then at that point in time, they did have the archaeological studies done and completed, everything was fine. This building that's been, and it's already been constructed, is only 2,028 square feet, and it is on the same footprint as the quilting barn was at that point. So it's really not disturbing anything, nothing's going to be moved or changed. It just was put on top of the quilting barn in place of the quilting barn, and they decided to make it into a residence.
Okay, thank you. Jim, is anyone else present other than the planner? Hearing nothing, I'm assuming then you just have the planner who is present. So with that then, I would like to turn it over to the commission for discussion and questions.
I have a couple of questions, I guess. The archaeological report from 2004 says that a site was recorded, P23-003955, but I have no idea what that is. The map of the project area is pretty blurry. I can't, and the text is so tiny that I can't really read where things are or what the quilting barn was, and I have no idea what site they talked about, because they recommend that a professional historic archaeologist be present. But since I can't tell where that is, there's a lot of buildings on the property. And I just can't tell. I can't really read it. Maybe you can help me. Is that the quilting barn? I mean, I can't read it. It's just too small. And it's the only map that has any buildings.
That is the new residence. That's the quilting barn and the residence
The
right there.
clear is the,
The clear is what was the quilting barn,
okay.
and then the other is the addition to the quilting barn, but it's still all in the same footprint that
Right.
was originally there. But that's the area right there.
Do you have any idea what building they were talking about for for the archaeology?
I have no idea. I haven't seen the study that was done, that was given to me, so I don't.
So the California Historical Resources Information System letter is that the study in 2004 covered 100% of the proposed project area, and that it contained a recorded historic era resource with archaeological components, and then they asked that a qualified professional archaeologist update the condition of this site using the Office of Historic Preservation's forms and things like that, and that they further don't recommend any archaeological unrecorded, I think they're talking prehistoric, that they don't recommend any further work. But I don't know which building they're talking about for having the condition updated. That's my only concern.
There must be a record. Of
That's a
that.
major
I mean,
concern.
It looks like it was recorded, so
Well,
there's a record that property owners can get.
Yeah, they gave it a number, but there are literally like a dozen residences or structures on this paper, and I don't know which one they were talking about that was historically significant. So, anyway, that's my take on it.
Mr. Lopez, can I ask, so this is, the house has been constructed already, correct?
Say that again?
The house that we're looking at now.
Why can't you be
already
louder?
constructed.
It's
Correct.
And was it constructed the
So
same
much for high
location
tech.
that the previous larger house was approved for?
No, it was constructed on the in the footprint of an existing building that was there.
Okay, it seems like what we need is the site record for the historic resource.
Yeah, they mentioned the number, but there's no paper.
There's no documentation
Well,
to validate it.
The property owner can acquire that, and then we can find out, what it is and what condition it's in, and make a decision as to whether or not, it needs to be, re-recorded. And that's a recommendation from Northwest Information Center.
Right.
That motion, Bill? So the property owner doesn't know what that is?
No, and I tried to get a copy of it and I haven't been able to yet. I have to figure out where to get one from.
Northwest Information Center,
Here.
Okay.
Sonoma State University.
But the building is built, right?
Yes, the building is up.
That is on Sonoma State comment, dated November 13th. You want that study number 28988 or the P number? In the second term.
I think the concern is the P number, the P23, correct?
Right, so the recorded site.
Okay. Yeah, you should get both. You should
Yeah,
get the survey report.
Yeah, it's probably a good
Which will
idea
talk
too.
about what it was that he recorded as a T number. Okay. So then, with that information, then I will retake your motion to, continue the item to a date uncertain, since we don't know when the study will be available. Continue the item to a date uncertain, and the applicant will bring back study number 28988, as well as the archaeological component 223-003955.
Can we see it before the next meeting?
We will see it before, yeah, it won't come back to the next meeting, we're gonna continue it to a date uncertain. So, the planner will have to reschedule for archaeological commission. We don't have a date now. I'm hesitant to put a date because we don't know when, the applicant can find those studies. Unless you.
Also,
Go ahead.
may I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe our planners need a lesson in paying attention to information from the Cultural Resource Center. When they provide this kind of information, the planner, it would be nice if the planner was right on top of it and made sure that his client had that information. So that's something that the planners need to pay attention to more.
Okay, yes, I will share that with the planning staff. So go ahead and read that motion. And last one, sir, Mr. Lopez, you think you can get this by, say, February? We can continue it to the date certain, and we don't need to notice the project again, and you'll just have to have these items by February. You think that's sufficient time?
I can try to get it as soon as possible, and we schedule it for February. If, I don't have it in advance of that, I will let the planner know.
Yeah, if you don't have it, then you can just continue the item again, or we can continue it to the date uncertain, and then when you have it, just let the planner know, and then we'll reschedule it for all.
Yeah, my preference is to put it on a February calendar, because my clients would like to get this moving.
Okay, then I'll rephrase the motion then, to continue the item until is it February 12th, Jim?
14th.
February 14th, Archaeological Commission, the applicant will come back with study number 28988 and component P23-003955. Is that a second?
Okay.
Okay. Bill, okay, roll call. Museum representative? Aye. Archaeologist representative?
Aye.
Native American representative?
Aye.
And alternate representative?
Aye.
And PDF is a yes. Motion carries 5-0. And the item will be turned on February 14th. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Happy holidays.
Sorry it was so.
I worked for the county for a long time, I know how.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
We're usually in person.
Okay, moving on then, item 3B. This is CDQ number 2023-0036. The owner is Casper Cattle Company. The applicant is Michael St. John, and the agent is Code Drive. The project request is a coastal development project to build a barn, install ground-based solar array, and move power poles from current locations in front of property and underground electricity from the front of property to the existing structure. The proposed barn is 1,152 square feet with a 288 square foot payload. The project is located in the coastal zone, approximately 0.08 miles north of Casper Town Center on Casper Road, and approximately 0.28 miles west of the intersection of Casper Road and State Route 1. It is addressed at 15101 Casper Road, parcel number 11805029. And do we have anyone from the public wishing to comment on this item?
Yes,
We have Mr. St. John here and Kelly Grimes.
He's asking for public.
So is it, okay, agent and applicant, okay, great. Mr. Grimes, Mr. St. John, any comments for our commission? get this item to consideration.
Yes. So I might mention, Casper Cattle Company is no longer the owner. I own the property myself. I bought it in September of 2021. Not that it matters, but maybe it does. Kelly and I are here to ask that we not be required to have this survey because it's costly and we believe it's unnecessary. The Kelly can explain, he has got some maps and things that this parcel is fully developed already. It's a home, it has, anyway, Kelly can explain the details, but it's fully developed and has been for many, many years. So I'm not skilled with archaeological surveys. I don't mind about archaeological surveys. I believe in them. It's a good idea. I'm glad you guys are here. But as to our property, I think in this case, I happen to own 55 acres altogether. This is just a 2.3 acre parcel that we're talking about today. The 55 acres, of course, there might very well be archaeological resources somewhere there, but it seems highly unlikely that archaeological resources would be found underneath the buildings on this property, in my view.
Thank you.
Sure.
So my name is Kelly Grimes. I'm the agent for Mr. St. John and local architect. And we brought along two maps. One of them is done by Wetlands Research Associates, which is defining all the botanical things on the site. It's covering the entire 55, or not the entire 55 acres, but everything on the site that's west of the highway. There's a small little portion here that is where the house is, where basically the development. This is the house of the. He was the supervisor for the mill there in Casper, so his house has been here for a long time. It's fenced in. The area within the fence on this botanical survey is all described as landscaped. The Ishas are well away from where we're talking, and I also have a couple Google Maps that show the site. This one shows the entire site, and you can see that here's the area we're talking about. I've zoomed in on that area. Here's where we're putting the barn. You can see very clearly from the Google Earth that there's an old concrete pad where we're proposing to put the barn. I'm not sure. There's various rumors as what that concrete pad was, whether it was tennis courts or what. There are a lot of rumors around Casper as to what was built there. But that's where we're putting the barn, so we're really not disturbing any of the field around the developed area. There's trenching from the power pole that's right inside the fenced area to the southwest corner there, and that's coming inside the fenced area along what is described as landscaped land. So it seems like if we were developing anywhere on this parcel outside of this small little developed area, I think that an archaeological survey would be, required or celebrated even from us. But within this developed area, it seems like it's pretty well degraded. It's been lived on and gardened and all kinds of things for 150 years. We're building on top of an existing concrete pad. So it seems like the survey is a little bit, it's a little not necessary in this situation, and it's just one more cost that Mr. St. John shouldn't have to bear. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Can you, Mr. Cole, can you see our maps at all?
I think you're gonna have to hold them up.
I don't know how you
I'm
could.
wondering if there was,
Maybe,
is there a spring on the property? So you're building on a
That's our
already
camera.
established pad?
The camera's here.
Oh, here.
It's in the owl.
Uh-oh.
Probably
oh, it's a
Whoa! Boy, it really doesn't. This is why we drove all this way, so that people could see this in person.
and I can't see.
But anyway, I mean,
Actually,
Who's that?
you could,
I don't really do anything.
the the county has equipment right there in that room that will show that property and show if there's any drainages that run through it or anything.
Yeah, there aren't any creeks or drainages or anything, it's a flat field. Even Planner Miller, when she came, she had a site visit, and, you know, once you get to the site, you realize that a lot of the concerns, you know, when you get a coastal development permit, a lot of the concerns were alleviated immediately upon seeing the development of this particular area that we're working on.
Shelby Miller has a PowerPoint for that too, if we really need it as well.
So this right here is where this is the concrete pad, you can see that. And then we're gonna trench from there to the house and then to the barn.
How do you get the power from the solar panels to these various structures?
That would also be a trench from back here to here. This is here, this is here, this is all developed area.
Do you know how deep the trenches go?
The trenches that were,
For the power?
I think it's 30 inches.
How much?
30 inches, 2.5 feet, I believe, is a requirement for to bury the electric, and it's about 10 to 12
About
inch
the size of
wide.
my 3-year-old.
I can share my screen shortly to, hi everyone, it's Shelby Miller, the planner on this project. I am going to share my screen to show the aerial footage, and then also to show where the trenching will take place, as well as where the proposed solar panels. Just 1 second, sorry. Okay. Sure. Okay. Can everyone see this part?
No,
No. Huh. Oh,
Right here.
I see. There's 1 and 2. About here? Oh, I see it. There we go.
There we go. There you go.
now we see it.
Good.
Okay, sorry about that. So, yes, this is, Mr. St. John's property. The barn would be, I think, placed roughly around here. And, yeah, Kelly Bragg said that the, proposed barn would be going on top of what possibly was a tennis court previously. But I also have a small little PowerPoint to show. So here's the site plan, proposed barn here, and then the proposed trenching I can also show is right here. So this is, we went on the site visit, and this is where the utility trenching will be. 360 lineal feet and 2.5 inches deep and 1 inch wide, or sorry, 1 foot wide. And then so that's roughly 900 cubic feet of ground disturbance. And as well, the other part of the project is to relocate the power pole, which would be proposed to be placed right behind these set of trees around here. But yeah, so this is the path of where the trenching would take place, and that is roughly the only place of where ground disturbance will take place. Here is the current location of the power pole, and what it is will do. So you guys see my mouse, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, cool, just making sure. So current power pole is in this area over here, which, as you can see, there's the driveway right here, and it also says the driveway is right here, just right here. And then, so, that's where the power pole is. They want to change it to over here, and so there would be trenching down this area. And that's where the red is here. And then, yeah, like we said, the proposed barn is not gonna disturb any ground, there's already an existing cement area. And then just to, show you as well where the ground-based solar array, would be in this open field right over here. And, yeah, that's about it.
Is there a spring on the property?
There's not.
Is there a water course that goes through the property?
No. There's no water. And if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure they use, Castle Water Company as the water source. Sorry, I'll stop sharing screen unless you have any other questions.
Do you think the discovery clause would cover this, Bill?
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm kind of thinking that because, there's not a spring and there's not a water course. I know it's 500 meters from the ocean, but that's still pretty far as far as people coming over from the valleys to get resources from the coast. They're most likely to be closer than that. The Northwest Information Center does, call it a moderate possibility in terms of sensitivity. So, I think I'm willing to, approve the project as it is.
Do you guys understand the discovery clause?
Yeah.
An alternative would be if you wanted to have an archaeologist present for the trenching.
The trenching is what concerns me, not the building so much.
I agree with you.
But that 900 cubic feet is a lot of soil being moved. But that could be covered with the
With the discovery clause.
discovery clause if somebody's actually paying attention.
Right. That's the key, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's a discussion we've had.
Yeah,
Well,
That would be
that
good.
sounds, like a semi-agreement anyway. I'd recommend that CDP 2023-0036, that we not require any additional archaeological survey other than, the discovery clause.
A second.
Thank you.
Yep. What happened?
Do you need a roll call vote?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think Mark looks like he's muted.
Mark, do it.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, so repeat that motion from Commissioner Paul, no survey required for CDP 2023-0036 with the inclusion of the discovery clause. There's a second?
Second.
That was, Mr. Johnson?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, roll call then. Museum representative,
Aye.
archaeologist representative,
Aye.
Native American representative,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
alternate representative,
Aye.
and planning and building services is a yes. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Just pay attention when they're trenching.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I had Santa Claus checking on you guys, so.
Yeah,
All right.
you don't want to be on the naughty
We'll
list.
be good. Do you want these?
Oh, no, well, I don't know. Do we
Yeah.
have
a picture, but we can't see it.
Yeah, but I'm sort of-
It's not very clear in our.
Thank you for coming over. Sorry,
Yeah, no, thanks
the
for
Zoom
being
is
here.
so weird.
Thanks for all the work you guys do.
Yeah.
You for
Happy holidays.
Okay, you do.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 3C, this is case number AC2023-0040. The owner is Anderson Vineyards. The applicant is Robert Gibson and the agent is James Barrett. The request is an administrative permit for the use of a proposed single-family residential structure as farm-storage housing. The project also includes removal of an existing residence, a replacement septic system, and driveway improvements. The project is located approximately 5.5 miles northwest of Iowa on the southwest side of Park Road, 800 feet from its intersection with State Route 128. It is located at 3150 Park Road in Silo. The APN numbers are 026-28053 and 026-27040. And it looks like we have a full project planner in the room. Jim, do we have anyone?
Mr. Barrett's here also.
Okay, great, thank you. Mr. Barrett, do you have any comments for the commission before they,
Did you want comments from you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna speak louder.
Amen to that.
This project is basically for ag employee housing replacement. The existing old ag employee housing has been vacant since Anderson Vineyards bought the property. They had a 30-year right of refusal lease whenever they originally got involved with the Clark Ranch, and it's also known as the Navarro Fair Hills Ranch. And Anderson Vineyards owns the ranch to the south, the Finoli Ranch, which is vineyard on it, and another project which we completed that was reviewed by your commission and for bunkhouse, and that was very successful. And this particular one that we're doing now is to replace that old two-bedroom house with a new three-bedroom house. It's the policy of the Anderson Vineyards to actually try to build good employee housing because there's a lack of housing, of course, in the Boonville area, and they find that they have less issues with retaining employees and other social issues if they can have family situations rather than the bunkhouses with itinerant workers. And so we have built over the last that I've been involved with them, we have built at least 12 units of employee housing that houses family situations. So this is just another one in that product. This is the old Clark Ranch, as I might call it, and on the property there you can see your plot plan that was prepared by our surveyor, that there's an existing farmhouse there, a barn, and then way down in the lower area, this is about a 50-acre parcel, and it's surrounded by vineyard, which Anderson Vineyards pulled out an apple orchard quite some time ago and planted vineyard on the property. And this parcel has does not have vineyard on it. This is just a vacant parcel that has been used some for grazing over the years, sheep grazing by the Clarks. And this one that we're replacing was occupied by a farm labor person for I've been told 20 years, and so It's been vacant, like I say, since, that was a Clark's ag employee. And this has been vacant since Anderson Vineyards exercised their right to buy, and about 5-6 years ago, Anderson Vineyards bought the property and of course inherited this farm, the old farmhouse, as well as this ag employee house. There was some consideration about maybe it could be remodeled and so forth, but it's beyond that type of a situation, so it was determined that with the state mandate solar sprinklers and other type of improvements that have to be made, and this does not have foundation underneath it. It's on piers and open. So it was decided that to build new qualifying housing, it is not going to occupy exactly the same location as the two-bedroom existing. It's going to be moved over a few feet, as you can see from your plot plan, and constructed there. As part of this project, we're going to construct a new septic system that will accommodate the ranch house, as well as this. It'll be a dual system that, as well as this house to be constructed under this project. So that is our impact on the area. This area has all been used. The access roads have been there, as you can see on the plot plan, for years and years. And they're gravel. We're going to not reconstruct any of those access roads. We're just going to maybe put more gravel on and widen them by just applying gravel to at least a 10 to 12 foot width. And so there is a proposal that we, as you can see on the plot plan, that we're going to try to connect those two with a new section, maybe 100 yards, 300 feet connection that doesn't exist at the present time, and that would be just gravel for fire protection purposes, so they could have a loop system. And so other than that, that is it. The power and everything is television and everything is all up there. We will be doing trenching, and my purpose today, in which you granted on numerous occasions, is that we find it very beneficial, rather than doing a study, which in our mind would not be as effective as requiring our archaeologists to be on site for any kind of ground disturbance. We found that that's worked very well. They have been there several times. I'm not sure that we save any money by doing it that way. I think it may cost us more because we have them on site and they're there several times. They write a report to your commission that any findings that they have, and so immediately if there is anything, of course they'd be notifying you and the county. So that would be my request, is that we have an archaeologist on site for any ground movement or trenching or any type of activity like that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barrett. So with that, I'm going to turn back over to the commission for discussion. Any questions, Mr. Barrett or Planner Kelly?
I have just a question. I can't remember where my notes are. There's a mention of a freshwater pond. Is that a constructed pond?
Yes, that's not on this property.
Okay, but it's a reservoir, not a
Yeah,
natural
it
pond.
was yeah, they constructed it for irrigation and fire protection.
The
Or
terms
frost,
are-
I'm sorry, frost protection.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I was wondering about that myself.
yeah, it's not on this piece, it's on
Right,
further,
adjacent.
I guess
Yeah,
it's
right next to
west
it,
from
yeah.
there, yes.
Yeah.
okay.
I guess my comments are that, the indigenous population density in this valley was, very, very high. And so I would, tend to recommend, that, the, ground disturbing areas, be, surveyed. Yeah, the client seemed to indicate that he was willing to have someone there for ground disturbance activities. That's also, good, I mean, that's fine with me, either one. And then there was a study that Origer did and didn't find anything. So it would be good to have that study so you would know that, in that area, you wouldn't have to be concerned about, I mean, you could, for the area of that study, if it covers any of your ground disturbing activities, it's already been surveyed, so you wouldn't have to have a survey there or someone there. But we don't have that information, but the property owner could get it. So that's pretty much my take on it.
So, Mr. Gill? Lockhart, Johnson, any comments, questions?
I'm willing to accept having an archaeologist on site as the alternative that's favorable to the owner and to me.
Mr. Gill? Lockhart, any questions, comments? Bill, can I ask you a question then? If we have an archaeologist on site, would it be any sort of purported survey that would, go back to Sonoma State that they could then keep in-house and use to determine future surveys?
Oh, yeah, I mean, if there is an archaeologist present for ground disturbing activities, yeah, he should definitely, turn in a report to Northwest Information. Because it's the same thing as surveying. I mean, it's even better than surveying. I mean, it is more expensive to have someone there on site, whereas it would be less expensive if you just had an archaeologist go out there to the areas that you're gonna disturb and survey the footprints of the areas that are to be disturbed. That's gonna be less expensive.
Okay. Commissioner Dick, Commissioner Lockhart, any comments, thoughts?
I mean, I guess if the property owner mentioned having someone there during ground disturbance, is that because he's aware of some areas that, do have cultural resources?
No, that just seems to be like how we've been working, and it's been very successful. You know, I question this building envelope where we're doing all the work, of them being able to find anything, because it's been, you know, there's gravel, and they've turned around in some of these areas and so forth. And what concerns me is that they would look at where we're going to do the septic system and maybe do scraping or what have you, and not see what we might have, you know, whenever we actually get a backhoe in there and start putting the system in. And that's why trying to be responsible, and we do work with Origer, and that's the ones that we have come up. And so I just felt it was more productive, and I, you know, got the approval from the owners that, okay, this is something that, you know, that we'll do because it works real well. And I think it's a better product in the end and more effective in protecting any resources.
Well, I think you're right, and I'm proud of you for that kind of concern. And it's definitely needed in this area. As I mentioned, that population density in this area was really high. So that's an excellent way to approach the project.
Yes, thank you.
If there are no other comments from the commission or questions for the agent,
I appreciate
I would
that.
like to propose a motion. Any more questions or comments? Well, seeing none then, I would like to motion that there is no survey required for project number AP2023-0040, but that a condition of approval be added that an archaeologist be on site for all ground disturbing activities.
And that he turns in a report to the Northwest Information Center of his basically it's survey. He's there,
Yeah.
he's surveying ground disturbing activities, and that should be recorded and sent to the Northwest Information Center. So in a way, we are requiring a survey in as much as it is being there for ground disturbing activities.
Correct, just so that you know it won't be coming back and approval, the applicant will take the other way to send a report, no mistake, but we won't get an opportunity to review it. Is that fine?
Yeah, it'd be nice to know what turns up, but that's okay.
All right, so then I'll repeat the motion then. So no survey required for AP 2023-0040. However, this would be a condition of approval that requires the applicant to have an archaeologist on site for all ground disturbing activities, and that that report be sent to Sonoma State University. And a second?
Second.
Motion me, second Bill. Okay. Roll call then. Museum representative.
Aye.
Archaeologist representative.
Aye.
Native American representative.
Aye.
Alternate representative.
Aye.
And planning and building services is also aye. Motion carries 5-0. No further required. Archaeologist representative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you work with Tom Orger?
Yes, yeah, they're so convenient, we get them and they're very prompt and, so they can come up, you just call them and they come up and really work with your schedule, the contractor's schedule, and they're there all day, some days.
Another thing I might add is that the county official maps that were done by many years ago in the late 1900s, early, I say 1909, with the days of my father, Chief Lankea was alive, and as a growing teenager, I was always so curious. Through the Boonville Philo area, there are sites recorded, but the interesting thing is there are no tribal lands set aside through that whole area.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's why I always feel cautious when someone mentions Boonville or Philo.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it in my heart.
Are you saying we didn't treat the Native Americans fairly? Is that what you're saying, trying to imply here?
So I'd appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
May the great spirit smile upon your family for the holiday.
Yes, thank you. And you also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one more item on the survey required. That's item number 3D. And the question number is 2023-0041. The owner applicant is Paul Sanger, and the request is an administrative permit to authorize single-family residential.
Very wise man.
Within a multi-family residential R3 zone district. The project is located in Brookfield Township on the west side.
Is it just me or is it the system?
800 feet
No,
south
he's just really
It's
solid.
kind of, it's scratchy.
Yeah, it's because of where he's at.
Is there anyone here from the public to speak?
Anybody here for Brook Trails?
No?
I don't show anybody. If anybody's online that wants to speak on this matter, you can raise your hand. I don't show any hands.
Okay, we know it, then I see we have Senator Crowley there for questions. So I'm gonna turn it over to the commission for discussion.
If I may, Mark,
Oh, yeah.
this is Liam, the planner for this project. I did get a comment from the property owner via email, and I did request that that be sent out to those of you that are attending virtually, but I did just want to hand that out to those of you that are here as well, if you don't have a copy.
Thank you.
And there's one for you as well, Jim. But that's all I have. I'm available if there's any questions. Thanks.
Can you read the letter to the record? I don't think it's posted.
Sure. Yeah, this is Liam Crowley again. So this is the statement that I received from the property owner regarding this project. It says, "To members of the Archaeological Commission, I'm writing to express my point of view as clearly as I can regarding whether or not an archaeological survey by a licensed archaeologist should be performed on my property as a requirement for the administrative permit application I have recently submitted. While I realize that some legal dispute most likely triggered the original notification requirement for all administrative permit applications, which underlies the recommendation before you in the first place, I think in this case the cost-benefit of a survey, the lack of precedent for any such survey in the immediate vicinity, and basic fairness should also be considered. 1, I am on a very tight budget with limited means, and this survey would be a significant expense for me with likely limited results. 2, as I understand it, due to the lack of any licensed archaeologist in the area and the reporting requirements, most of the ultimate expense would be eaten up by travel time and bureaucratic paperwork. Number 3, it's ultimately a small project, 1,000 square feet on an under 1/3 acre plot. 4, I think it's ironic that by foregoing the administrative permit and building a triplex instead, a minimum 1,800 square feet in Brook Trails, requiring far more and extensive excavation, no such survey would be required. And 5, in my understanding, such a survey bears no direct relationship to my zoning application itself, its approval or denial, and it may be denied in the end regardless of the results. In any case, I should think it would be more appropriate to a building permit where actual soil disturbance would occur than a zoning application. Thank you for your consideration."
All right. Thank you. So we will then turn it over to the commissioner for discussion.
So I'm confused. So his application is not to actually build a house. It's to get permission for a zoning change so that in another step he can build the house.
In essence, that's correct. Yes. Again, this is Liam Crowley, planner. So the property in which this is located is zoned R3, which is the multifamily zoning district. And that normally allows only for multifamily uses to be built by right. However, the applicant does wish to construct a single-family residence, and because they're within this zoning district, they're required to go through the administrative permit process, which is a discretionary process, in order to, as you said, get permission to build a single-family residence. So the proposal, in essence, is to build a single-family residence, but if, for example, the applicant wished to build multifamily, then they would not be required to go through the administrative permit process. They would just have to get a building permit.
And there would be no requirement for a survey?
There wouldn't. If they only had to do a building permit, it would never go before the commission.
Huh.
Yeah.
Excuse me, did he go before the planning commission?
No, this ultimately this would have to be decided by the zoning administrator, who is the hearing body. Although typically these sorts of applications don't require a public hearing. They're just discretionary permits that are approved administratively, if that makes sense. No. I guess another way to explain it would be the zoning administrator is the person making the decision on the project, but there wouldn't be necessarily any public hearing for the project.
So they want.
So it's a little
speed
bit higher level review than a building permit, but less than going to the
Are
planning
we gonna
commission.
be the scapegoat?
I don't think I
Is that
should
a
comment on
year-round
that.
water course? Is that a year-round water course?
As I understand it, I did get comments from California Fish and Wildlife, who mentioned that it was an ephemeral stream.
Is it OT or OP?
It's OTT, O-T-T.
Okay, the print says OP, I believe.
Oh.
But the map, the handwritten
Yeah, I think
map
it should be
says
OT.
OT.
What kind of activities
Up,
have taken
they
place
call
on
it
the
up.
property in the past?
Personally, I wouldn't know, but I did visit the property, and it is just a vacant lot in the Brook Trails Township, and I think there were some photos that were in the packet
Yeah.
towards the end, and those were photos that I took when I visited the site.
Could you
Perhaps a
tell
month ago.
why it was clear?
No, I would assume it would be
Logged?
in preparation of the intent to build a residence, but
But it probably was,
So is there water in the creek year-round?
no, from the comments that I received from California Fish and Wildlife, it seems that it was a intermittent stream. But when I visited the site, there was water in the creek. I think because we had recently had rains.
When did you visit it?
On the property or adjacent?
It's near I guess it would be the western parcel boundary. Sorry, to answer your question about when I visited, I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but I believe it was around a month ago. So mid-November.
after the rain
Did it
Yeah.
started.
have water?
Oh, in
Did it have
November.
water in it?
There was water there
Yeah.
when I visited, and it was after it had rained.
How deep?
I don't remember. It was a little bit far away.
Mm.
All I remember, it was a bit of a steep bank.
It's pretty dry up in that area. It's a miracle there was water there.
Well, we had some rains.
Yeah.
Oh, it had rained out, yeah, in November too.
It was after I do
It's
remember
running
it was
down
after a
mountain.
rainstorm.
So this is a third of an acre, right?
Correct.
And it's scraped flat. I mean, it looks like it should have trees on it. I mean,
Possibly.
I don't know if he
know.
scraped it or if it's been scraped for years or what, but it certainly doesn't look like a natural meadow with all those. I mean, Brook Trails is basically just like forest everywhere.
Right.
I mean, it looks like a
Hilly.
natural meadow.
Hilly and dry.
What activities have taken place on the property over time?
That I do not know the answer to. I would have to defer to the property owner if they know, but I don't know if they're in attendance. All I know is that it's part of the Brook Trails Township, which was originally subdivided, I think, back in the
This is an
60s.
This is an open glade, and there's water available, and there's no, previous grading, or it used to be a tennis court, or is it, that's what I'm kind of interested in. I mean, is it an undisturbed, is it a undisturbed area? Well, whatever.
Okay, well then, any further questions from the commission on this project?
I guess I'll just say Liam Crowley again. I'd be happy to look into that if you'd like and ask the property owner if they have any information about what was there before. But again, from when I visited, all I saw was a vacant lot that had been, it appeared to have been driven upon or raked in some way. I
Yeah, it's
don't know
got,
what the-
it's got car, looks
Yeah.
like people have been doing wheelies. It's hard to see. There's a bench, looks like somebody put up a bench to look out at the river, maybe? I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah.
Or creek? I don't know.
Someone
What,
cared
uh,
enough to
what
put up a
creek?
bench.
Does that creek have a
Could
name?
be a dance site.
On
Does
the,
the water course have a name?
I think it's Ott. On the map, it says, or on the hand-driven map, it's OTT. In the, attachment to the permit application, it's called Up Creek, UPP.
As far as I know, it's the correct name is Ott.
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 Bill, can I ask if there had been previous use on the property, how would that affect your recommendation?
Well, when you look at the overall map, you can see all of the kind of open land to the south of the property. And if that land, to me, I mean, it may have been farmed or something, but it looks, you know, pretty much undisturbed. And there is a water course that's going through the property. And which kind of sets off alarms for me right away, as far as sensitivity goes. But I mean, I don't want to be the only one to make a call on this one. So.
And Sonoma State indicated they have no record.
Yeah, they indicated a moderate possibility for cultural resources. I think that's what it said.
I don't think they graded it, they just said it has three possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really look graded, but.
Mr. Johnson, what are your thoughts?
I'm sorry, was that me?
Yes, I'm sorry, my microphone.
There is a waterway through it, but to me, the opening looks like it's been cleared. And I don't know, I mean, given the way the trees and the, there's a real hard road cut in one of the photographs. It looks like it's, to me, it looks like it's been scraped. But I agree that one of the maps, I can't remember, I don't know how you'd label the map, but it's a US, not a USGS map, but a, some kind of a topographical map. It does have, a, you know, like a light opening at the base of these hills with a creek going through it. But if you look at the next one, which is a photograph, it's mainly tree covered, except for one tiny little corner. I don't know.
To me, it just looks like open meadowland. I mean,
Third of an acre's not very big. I guess you can't survey if you're gonna go back. I don't know. I'm feeling like the Grinch, you know, where you Lois is laughing too, you know, where you're saying, no, I'm sorry, buddy, you gotta spend a few $1,000 more and go have somebody go look at your 1/3 of an acre land where you're gonna put a 1,000 square foot house on. Personally, I think I would probably run the risk of it not being anything. But maybe I'm being a softie. And it's interesting that if he was building a bigger place, he wouldn't have to have a survey. If it was a minimum 1,800 square feet, it wouldn't require a survey. But since it's smaller, it does. So we're not very consistent in our application. You don't think a discovery clause would do it?
Excuse me, Mark? Lois? Hello? Are you there? May I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Native American Rep. Lois Alpart. I would agree with the discovery clause plus notification of the Sherwood Valley Rancheria tribe, because this is their cultural environmental area.
Would they
Trails,
be responsive
Sherwood
to
Road.
going up there?
They have staff that can handle that, administrative office. I also feel like I'm being put in between a rock and a hard place in this application.
No, I agree. I mean,
Are you there, Mark?
Looks like Rob is raising his hand for some reason. Don't know why.
That's Rob.
Hi, I just wanted to point out that in the Q&A, Mark said his mic died.
Great.
Not Mark, but it's Mike. Okay.
Maybe if you're able to message him on Teams,
Yeah, I can.
see if
So he said,
Then we maybe postpone this for 10 minutes to see if we can get Mark's mic back on.
he says, what's the call-in number?
did Lindsay, she just asked for a, what do you call it, a break? Not a break, but a,
I think Mark's gonna try and call in on his phone.
6-9.
I have to go to the restroom for a second.
So yeah, 669
Yeah,
900 91
28.
28.
Okay.
I don't go up into brook trails very much, but it's scary. I mean, it really is, all the roads and all the houses and then all these trees. You know, it's like it's just kind of a fire disaster waiting to happen. And if it did, I don't know how people would get out on those roads. They're just,
Gridlock. Sherwood is the only way out.
And then there's like spider web roads. We went up there and we went the long way. We finally asked a neighbor how you get out. She goes, "Oh, you just go up there and turn left." And we had like gone in and, you know, and they're all names that are like Pond Road, Pond Lane, Pond Street. You know, it's like, they're all the same word except they're slightly different roads.
Yeah,
And you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, what would happen?
this place looks very familiar.
Mark?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I apologize for that, don't know what happened. Did I hear that we paused the meeting?
No, I didn't pause it.
Oh, Bill went to the bathroom, I think so.
Oh, yeah. Bill went to the restroom though, so.
Okay, all right, so we will then pause and just, come back and, we'll reconvene in 5 minutes then, so at 3:31, if that's okay with everybody.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, we'll see everyone back at 3:31, thank you.
Alrighty.
Okay, Jim's everyone there?
Yep,
Can you hear me?
yep.
Okay, all right, so, this is Mark Kleiser again, planner with Planning and Building Department, Mendocino County, calling the December 13th, 2023 Archaeological Commission back to order at 3:31. And we were discussing case number AP 2023-0041. And I apologize for my mic dying. I think we left off, Lois, I heard you making a comment.
Discovery
Right.
and Sherwood
I will leave.
Band.
Mhm.
You wanna repeat it, Jim?
Oh, yes. My recommendation is that, okay, it's difficult to hear here. We don't want to do this kind of meeting again, okay? So anyway, due to the fact that Sherwood Valley Rancheria tribe was originally the Little Lake people in the floor in the Willits area. They moved up into the Brook, what is now we call the Brook Trails area, and from there they went out to the original land base out on Sherwood Road. Consequently, we need to contact the Sherwood Valley Rancheria tribal staff, and also I would suggest the Discovery Club. Those are my comments.
Okay. Did you want to hear back any comments specifically from the tribe? So I believe it was already referred out to the Cloverdale Rancheria, Redwood Valley Rancheria, and the Sherwood Valley Band of Pomo Indians. And Planner Crowley, I don't believe there are any comments back from the tribe.
No, not as of yet.
Okay. Lois, can I ask, would you like perhaps to continue the meeting until we can reach out directly to the tribe for comment? And then bring the item back?
Lois, that's you.
Hmm?
You wanna continue this until we've got a response from the tribe?
So, I think so, yes.
Yes? Okay.
Well, what
Commissioner-
we decide today isn't necessarily gonna affect his appeal for zoning change, right? Isn't that what he's trying to do? He's trying to get rezoned, or?
Not necessarily. It's not the zoning that's changing, it's just him gaining permission to build a single-family residence where multifamily is usually required in that zone.
But our discussion doesn't affect that decision at all, right?
No, although, other than the fact that, whatever you decide may require him to do a survey or whatever else.
Excuse me, Lois Lockhart again, may I voice my concern here? As I said, I feel like I'm being pushed between a rock and a hard place. What type of political ramifications is this setting precedent for? I.e. zoning versus art commission or vice versa?
I guess this is Liam Crowley. I'm not sure political ramifications. I guess in my mind, this is similar to your standard coastal development permit for a single-family residence, in that this is a discretionary permit that would have to be approved by, in this case, the zoning administrator, and the request is to construct a single-family residence. So I think it's certainly at the commission's discretion to decide whether or not a survey is required, in the same way that you would deliberate on any other project.
I know I'm thinking out of the box, but at the same time, it just bothers me. Trying my best to make it good, make sense out of it.
May I make a suggestion, Lois, to add possibly to your comment earlier that if we
Crowley time to reach out to the tribes again, possibly by phone, to ensure that they've received the referral, that they've had the opportunity to comment on it, and get their comments, and then maybe it would be something that they have a TIPO member present during any ground disturbance. Or they may have some record of the parcel themselves that they can share.
Tell me.
Well, I'll have to go, I'll say yes, yeah.
Any other comments from the commissioners?
I was just looking at Grover's, or actually Barrett's ethnogeography, and the maps that we have, there is a village site, but it turned out to be on the shore of a little lake, rather than up in the hills. That was the closest village that I could find to this property was Yami, on the southern shore of Little Lake. So, that was one of my concerns. I just was able to figure that out.
Lost.
I like the idea of maybe having the Willits group. I wonder if they have a tribal historic preservation officer who maybe could have one of their members check the place out.
Commissioner Johnson, looks like you're agreeing.
I think if we're gonna have a discovery clause, it would be nice to have a native representative be there. It's just a third of an acre, it's not gonna be a huge project.
Right. Okay, then I would like to make the motion. Gosh.
Is Commissioner Dick trying to call?
I would like to motion that we continue this item and give the plan the opportunity to reach out to the local tribe for any comments, and to bring it and continue it to a date certain of February 14th. And then hear the comments from the tribe, if any, at that time.
And whether they would be interested in checking out the property.
Okay.
It would be less expensive than an archaeologist.
Okay, so then the motion is to continue the item to a date certain of February 14th, 2024, to give the planner time to reach out to the tribe for comments, if any, and to give that tribe the opportunity to visit the parcel and potentially be present during ground disturbance. Well, period after visit the parcel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
second.
Second? Okay, roll call then. Museum representative. Aye. Archaeologist representative.
Aye.
Native American representative.
Aye.
Alternate representative.
Aye.
And Planning and Building Services is an aye. The project will be continued to February 14th, to give Planner Crowley time to reach out to the tribe for any comments. and giving the tribes opportunity to visit the site as necessary. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Sorry for the confusion.
All right, so moving on to
Who gets to
item
leave?
number 4, which is
You owe me a
review
soda.
of survey. And the first item we have is case number CDP 2023-0014. The owner is Celestione Linda Jean Administration. The applicant agent is Chris Bostock. The request is an administrative coastal development permit to construct a 1,900 square foot multi-story single-family residence with a maximum height of 16 feet above natural grade. The request also includes connection to the North Gualala Water District and utilities. The project is located in the coastal zone, 4 miles north of Gualala, lying on the east side of Fish Rock Road. It is located at 46461 Fish Walk Road in Gualala. The assessor parcel number 143-21130. And I'd like to note that this item was first heard by the commission on October 12th, with the comment that the project would be continued to November 8th. The archaeologist would provide explanation as to how conclusions for surveys were reached. They would include transect distances, how and where mineral soils were observed, and they would provide a map of mineral soil observation. The project came back on November 9th, but it was requested that we continue it until today, and that brings us to today. And I believe we have the agent in attendance. Is that correct?
Who is it?
I'm sorry?
Do you know the name?
Chris Bostock, is he present?
I don't see him.
William Rich is part of this.
William Rich?
No. Okay.
There's William Rich.
Not sure. He's maybe the
Is there
archaeologist.
anyone present for this item? Please raise your hand. That would be you. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rich. Do you have any comments for the commission before we bring this to discussion?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, very good. Thank you for bringing this item. I have no comments right now, but if any questions arise, I'll be here to answer.
Okay, so Jim, has the new survey with the answers to the commission's questions been distributed?
I never received it, and if Jocelyn got it, she didn't give it to me.
I have one.
Did she send it?
I didn't get one.
November 6th, 2023, cultural resources responses. Is that what we're talking about? It's a report from William Rich and Associates.
I believe that's right.
Okay. And it's sections of how conclusions for survey were reached. Provide transect distances. Another section, how and where mineral soils were observed, and a map of the mineral soil observations. And I believe, I don't have my notes from last meeting, but I think those were the questions we had regarding the archaeological survey.
May I ask the other commissioners if they received this revised survey?
I did not.
I didn't get a revised survey, but I got it a memo one with 3 pages.
Yes, I believe that's what it would be.
Okay. And Commissioner Dick, did you receive that?
Yeah, I got the amendment by William Rich and Associates. I got like a 4-page thing from them yet.
Commissioner Lockhart, did you receive that?
I just received some information here that I didn't have before, so I'm reading it.
Jim, may I ask if you have that email and if you could forward it to Commissioner Cole? If not, I will reach out to the planner who is here, and then maybe what we can do while that is being emailed to Commissioner Cole, we can we can continue this item to the end of section 4 and move on to item 4B. If you have that emailed to forward, let me know. If not, I will reach out to the planner.
I don't have it.
You don't have it?
No.
Okay.
It should be continued.
If
Insufficient
one of-
evidence, insufficient information.
If one of the
have
commissioners
it.
has that
Oh, for
information,
you.
we should be able to just share that now. and we
Call for a
won't
point
have
of
to
order,
go,
sir.
Okay. Ailing.
I can share my screen. I have it, the amendment pulled up, and I can share my screen if that would help.
That would help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kind
One
of.
moment.
Or you could just tell us what they say. Or what it
Oh,
says.
it's long. You don't want to listen to me that long. Okay. So, this is the first page. Basically, just reminding everything. I'll tell me when to scroll down and I can scroll.
Let's see,
Here. You need it back? Or you just looked it over?
Could you get me a copy of that before I leave?
Yeah. Let me go make you a copy right now. You want me to do it?
Okay, thank you.
I think we just held off on a conclusion as to whether,
I think
they didn't
so.
find anything on the archaeological survey, and we just had questions about the detail of the survey report. And he provided it.
It's, you know what really bothers me? Is the inference of what they all think they know. I find that extremely disrespectful. It's annoying. You know, I mean,
scroll.
when I go into a new community, I don't assume I know anything about it.
Stop.
I'll stop.
Thank you.
I can't see it, Mark.
I'm just filling in. I didn't do any of this, so it's like, so I know what you mean.
Scroll a little bit more.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And then
Okay, now, let's see, the archive provider,
Okay, any more? Or is that it? That's it? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, well, that's great. So we could accept the survey. Looks like they did a good job. All right, I'm gonna take that as a motion, Bill, to accept the survey. Do I have a second?
Second.
That's Commissioner Dick. Okay, roll call then. Oh, Commissioner Dick, can you stop sharing screen then?
Ryan, there we go.
Roll call then, let's see. Museum representative. Archaeologist representative.
Aye.
Native American representative.
Aye.
Alternate representative.
Aye.
And planning and building is a yes. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Okay. Moving on then to item number 4B. This is case number U2023-0004. The owner applicant is the Mendocino Union High School District. The agent is Matt Kennedy. The request is demolition and replacement of 2 existing water tanks, chlorination and control buildings, and related infrastructure. Improvement of 2 existing wells and installation of approximately 10 new wells. The project is located in the coastal zone, approximately 1 mile southeast of Mendocino Town Center on the north side of Little Lake Road. It is east of its intersection with Gurley Lane, located at 44100 Little Lake Road in Mendocino. Do we have anyone online or in the room wishing to speak on this project?
Yes, we do.
Oh, I see we have, okay,
Brian?
the Simmons and Brian. Brian, do you have anything you'd like to say before the commission takes this into consideration?
Yeah, hi commissioners. I just wanted to let you know that I am online. I work at GHD. I work with Matt Kennedy, who was listed as the agent for today's meeting. And I wanted to let you know that he could not be here, but I have been working on this project with him and Rob. And I'm happy to try to answer any questions you may have about the site. I also spoke with the lead archaeologist ahead of this call. Unfortunately, she could not be present at this site either. She's in the field. But I did try to pick her brain a little bit on some things. So if there's any questions about the survey, hopefully I can help provide some clarity. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
And Planner Fitzsimmons, any comments before we go back to the commission for discussion?
Wanted to let everyone know I was here and ready to answer questions if necessary.
Okay, thank you. All right. So with that, we'll bring it back to the commission for discussion. Any questions?
I'm not familiar with this, I don't think. So when was the survey requested? Or review of survey? Do you know when the survey?
Yes, so the survey was not requested. They submitted the project with the survey. And there aren't separate comments from Sonoma State because the survey was prepared by Sonoma State. So sending it to them would just be redundant.
Okay. And Mark, this is not the one in the town of Mendocino that we had talked about several months ago, is it? With the water lines and a couple miles of water lines and trenching that we discussed?
I will let Rob answer that question. Looks like he's got his hand up.
So this is a related project. That project was water lines running through the town of Mendocino, and it did connect to this parcel. It did involve some work on this subject parcel. This is connected, but it is a separate project. The earlier one didn't involve any new wells, essentially. This is new production as an emergency water source, so it was split into 2 projects. And I'll go ahead and let the applicant's representative weigh in if they want to clarify any further.
Okay.
Yeah, no, good question. I just wanted to kind of let you know that it is a separate project. The one that was before you a few months back that I think you're thinking about was a recycled water project. And this particular project is a potable water supply project. So it is separate projects.
Okay.
Thank you.
Brian, did you have a comment? I see your hand up. No?
No, sorry, I just forgot to lower it there.
The commissioners, feel free to interject or make a comment whenever you have one.
I'm trying to recall the previous one. It seems to me that the previous project in Mendocino, there were multiple recorded archaeological sites in the vicinity, and this one's showing 2.
Rob?
Yeah. The previous project was much larger in terms of area, because that involved pipes running through the town of Mendocino, connecting, I believe it was the MCSSD, I'm not understanding the acronym, but connecting a facility on like the west side of the town to this project site. But this project is confined just to that well site outside the town of Mendocino, east of it. So there's going to be fewer things in proximity because it's a much smaller project in terms of footprint.
So I'm looking at the topo map and the aerial photo, and then the next map, which is the proposed site plan. And it looks like there's a lot of grading involved, besides just the 3 storage tanks.
No kidding.
I'm just surprised that they would say that the possibility of sites is low.
I
This,
know, I'm very surprised at that too. That's very unprofessional.
this doesn't seem like an area that would be true.
And I'm surprised that Sonoma State would allow somebody to say something like that. These Mendocino headlands there's quite a number of sites in and around that town and out on the headland. And anyway, for all the grading, I'd recommend an archaeologist be present. That's my take on it.
Brian, you have a comment?
Yes. So I guess I just wanted to kind of reiterate what Rob mentioned earlier, that the project is in a different area. It's not in the Mendocino Headlands area. And I did ask.
So it's west of the highway, right?
It is not. No, it's east of the highway.
West of the highway would be, yeah, but it's within like,
That even puts it in that area's got sites too. That main site, Bogon is around in somewhere.
It is approximately 3/4 of a mile east of Highway 1, off of Little Lake Road, kind of in the vicinity of the school.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I did ask the Anthropological Study Center, because they are the consultant that performed the survey, did the tribal outreach, and ultimately prepared the report. I asked them in advance of this call if they could give me kind of a summary of kind of the recommendations and how they got there. So maybe that might help to reiterate for you all. They gave, if I may, would that be helpful?
Yes, please. Is this any different from what's in the report?
No, I don't think it is. I think it's just kind of a reiteration, maybe, of it. So you let me know if it's helpful.
Okay.
Shall I proceed?
Sure.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I think there's four items that kind of mentioned here. First one is the property was partially surveyed in 2020 and 2022. They did not identify any cultural materials, and the record searches did not indicate any cultural resources in the area. Second item, the potential for buried archaeological resources is low, given that given that the underlying geology and soils predate the Holocene period of human occupation, that this is supported by prior cultural studies east and south of the project area where no cultural resources have been located within a half mile of the project area. Third thing that is listed here is the potential for pre-contact cultural resources on the surface is low. The project area is densely forested and gently sloping and is dissimilar to the setting of the nearest pre-contact archaeological site. And then finally, the fourth item is the ASC notified tribes and discussed the survey results with, for example, the Sherwood Valley Rancheria Tribal Historic Preservation Officer, Valerie Stanley, who did not have any comments or recommendations regarding the presence of any cultural or potential cultural resources in the project area. So those were some of the findings that they had in terms of why the survey does not recommend archaeological monitoring for the site.
Thank you, Brian.
Sure. I'll lower the hand.
Well, I'm surprised, but I honestly can't argue with the methods or the recorded information that they have in the area, so it's just a surprise.
Commissioner Dick, Commissioner Lockhart, any comments? No?
Have no comment. Except there's sure a lot of wells, 10 wells.
10? Where am I looking?
Construction of 10 wells, that's what it's,
Oh, they want to, approximately 10 new wells, yeah.
yeah.
So I guess what we decide is whether everything's accepted without any further monitoring? Is that the question in front of us?
You could accept the survey and request that a monitor be present, if that's what you wish to make, or you could just accept the survey with a discovery clause.
I think I'd like a monitor present. That's my personal opinion.
I still say the discovery clause should be active. However,
Well, yeah, but it's a little different when you have somebody who's there to monitor it because they're trained. They're not just, there in case something pops up. They're there to
it's like
observe
going,
for
now
one.
here's the town of Mendocino, and you go up that Little Lake Road. I've experienced some,
Well, that's why I'm surprised, but I can't argue with the record search or the survey method, so.
most unusual things that are. Excuse me, away.
Well, Commissioner Call, was that then a motion on your part, or?
Well, no, that's my personal, as a commissioner, that's what I think, we should have someone there for the grading. If it's not an archaeologist, it could be a tribal monitor.
Okay. Oh, Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Dick, Commissioner Lockhart, you want to weigh in?
Who would be the on-site tribal folks for Mendocino? Who would that be? Do you know?
From the town of Mendocino?
Well, or, yeah, it's just a mile away, I think. I mean, they've got letters.
The only tribe with resources that could go into that
Cheyenne,
area
maybe?
would be Sherwood Valley Rancheria.
In Willits, not Kashaya then, oh, Kashaya's Stewart's Point, that's too
There
far.
are no tribes on the coast.
Yeah.
Linear descendants live throughout the county, they're scattered all over, but the BIA designated federal
Is
land
there a rancher,
is a whole nother subject.
is there a rancheria just east of Casper? Isn't there a group there?
There's a letter that went out to Noyo River Indian Community.
They don't have an admin office.
Well, what
Cannoli and
tribal group
Fort.
is the closest that has a historic preservation officer?
Sherwood.
Just Sherwood, I would go with Sherwood because the lineal descendants that live around in the coast, scattered throughout, probably from Gualala to Rockport, are most likely members of the Sherwood Valley tribe or lineal descendant.
I think the letter was sent to them, I don't think they responded, but,
I was sent to Valley or Valley's
oh,
mother,
well,
Harriet.
maybe, it just doesn't show it. Attached, please find the Sherwood Valley Tribe's response to water tanks project.
Mhm.
But then it's just a PDF notice. So I don't know if
Brian,
they
you have
got
your hand
one.
up?
Yeah, the federal government's given Sherwood Valley Rancher sporadic money to handle what we're discussing. Sites, historic documentation. We still don't have the story written.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't
About
want
our
to talk for
creation.
anyone there, but since
That's
it
why
was
I'm still
mentioned,
alive, I have to write it, I
I
guess.
just want to reiterate that Sherwood Valley Rancheria, the Tribal Historic Preservation Officer was contacted, and spoken to about the project, Valerie Stanley. And again, Valerie did not have any comments or recommendations regarding the need for monitoring.
So for my personal take on this, I would ask them to, if they would, consider monitoring the grading, and that, they would have to receive payment from the city community water, services district.
I'd like to request, Brian, do you have that comment from Valerie Stanley in writing? And would that satisfy the commission if they saw the comment from Valerie Stanley stating that she had no comments essentially? Would that help?
Well, I mean, if the commission decides that they would like to have a Native American monitor, then that's something that we need to decide at the commission level, and then ask Sherwood if they would be interested in doing that.
Okay.
I can share my screen again. again. But the Valerie's response is in the packet that I received.
Yeah, I see it.
Before you do that, Commissioner Jake Bryant, you had a comment?
I just wanted to answer your question, and I think the person who just spoke is probably going to take you there. On page 102 of the PDF is the letter on Sherwood Valley's letterhead of their response, and then there was also a phone call I had between Samantha Dollinger from Anthropological Studies Center and Valerie, and that's documented, I think, within the report, but there's no, I guess, written summary of that call per se, you know what I mean? So, but this letter that was received is in the packet on page 102 of the PDF.
No page on.
Okay, so it's towards the very end then, if you scroll all the way down or flip through it, that's where all the tribal consultation information is.
About 7 pages from the back.
Yeah.
This actually, it says they have no further information to add, but it doesn't say that they wouldn't be willing to be out there.
Because there's no actual money set aside to do the job.
What's her name, Leona?
Well, they would get money for
Just
doing
goes
this.
like this.
Is it Leona?
Flip-flop. It's the government for you. They don't want the tribal people too educated, you know?
We're looking for the name of Leona.
Same old story.
No, I think you're looking for the name of Valerie Stanley is the THPO.
Can I read it's a very short notice from the Sherwood Valley Band of Pomo Indians addressed to Samantha Dollinger, project manager. It says, Dear Ms. Dollinger, this correspondence will serve as formal response from the Sherwood Valley tribe regarding the MUSD property on Little Lake Road, Mendocino, California. The Sherwood Valley tribe has no further information to add regarding cultural resources. Sherwood Valley tribe is the MLD of the area. The tribal contact is Valerie Stanley, and then there's an email address. Thank you. So they might be willing to respond to an on-site survey. That wasn't apparently what they were asked to do, so they answered the questions. We don't have any more information. But they did respond.
With the information they had available at that point in time.
Well, yeah.
You know, I speak as a tribal elder, with my father being the last ceremonial chief of Sherwood Valley Rancheria, due to the fact that the United States government and Congress is not interested in funding the tribal administration of local tribes to do the job they're called to do, the tribal council being the fiduciary, having fiduciary responsibility for their membership and looking over our assets and saving information for the next generation. It's difficult to want to volunteer 40 hours a week doing a job that's very, very important. But Valerie, dear heart that she is, tries her best. And so her job is kind of like off and on.
Well, the request was made to Michael Knight, chairperson, but
Yeah,
it was
he's no longer
responded.
chair.
Right. It says, we respectfully request any information or concerns that you or your organization may wish to share regarding cultural resources within or in the vicinity of the project area. And they said that they did not. But they also said that they are,
They're open.
what's MLD?
MLD.
It says, what is it? Sherwood,
Can I make a comment? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Lois.
just says Sherwood Valley Tribe is the MLDs of the area. I'm wondering what that means.
Multiple planning. I'm not familiar with that terminology.
Can I ask the commission,
I have a set rule. We never use acronyms. So anyway, Mark, if I may,
The commissioners, please, if,
am I speaking?
what if we were to request that the applicant reach out to Sherwood Valley Band of Pomo Indians, and ask them if they would like to be present during ground disturbance? And if they decline, they decline. Would that be sufficient?
The water district should pay for a monitor, a tribal monitor. to
Hey,
be
that's a
there
good point, Bill.
During grading.
I like that idea.
But if the tribal, if Sherwood Valley and Valerie Stanley declined, if they said a monitor isn't required, are you talking about a TIPO member, or are you talking about an archaeologist being present?
I'm talking about a tribal TIPO person, that, the community service district would pay for a tribal monitor to be there during ground disturbance, during grading.
Okay, do you want to make that a motion?
Sure.
Alright. Can you state that in the motion?
I was waiting for our leader to do that.
Well then, what I heard is a motion from Commissioner Cole that, we accept the survey with the condition that a tribal monitor be present and that the water district, pay for said monitor
During grading, yeah.
during grading. Do I have a second?
I will second that. Lois Lockhart.
Before we take that second, I'd like to reach out to Brian. He raised his hand before we got a second in.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry to keep raising my hand. I find this discussion helpful, though. I just wanted to ask if, I think there was a prior suggestion for a motion that there be a condition that the lead agency reach out to a Native American tribe, the most likely descendant. That's what the MLD stands for. So in this case, Sherwood, to ask if they would like to be present, and then if so, then the water district and the Mendocino Unified School District would pay for such a monitor. Is that a slight change to that motion that you're making? Because it's kind of the if-then I was hearing. If Sherwood does not feel the need to be present, then the condition would no longer require that a tribal monitor be present. Is that a nuance that I was hearing that would be relevant here? Thank you for taking the question.
So I will then, retract that motion and reach out.
Oh, my
Commissioner.
take on this was that the commission would like to see a tribal monitor there during grading and to be paid for by the service district.
Bill, can I ask, Bill, just for clarification, if the applicant were to reach out to the Sherwood Valley Band of Pomo Indians and request that they be present, and Valerie declines, then what? Then there is no monitor to be present.
Well, if we're saying that he will be paid, if we're saying that the monitor will be paid, they won't turn it down.
Okay? Then I guess the motion stands. Do we have a second?
Lois? Want to second it again?
Yes, I'll second that. Lois Lockhart, seconds.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Cole, seconded by Commissioner Lockhart. Roll call vote then, museum representative? Aye. Archaeologist representative?
Aye.
Native American representative?
Yes.
Alternate representative?
Aye.
And planning building, also a yes. Motion carries, then survey is accepted. Thank you very much. Brian, oh, you have a question?
No, I did not, thank you.
Okay, right. Thank you, Rob. Okay, and that brings us to our last item of the day, item number 4C. Case number U2023-0005. This item is continued from November 8th, 2023. The owner is Baywoods LLC. The applicant is Telespan Communications, Tim Cotter. The request is a use permit to construct a new 125-foot tall cellular antenna tower with a monopine type design. Install 3 arrays of antennas for 3 wireless carriers along with associated tower and ground equipment, including 1 emergency electricity generator for each co-locator/carrier. Additional work includes the installation of 430 feet of underground utilities. All equipment will be placed on concrete pads and located within a fenced 2,500 square foot leased area at the base of the tower. The project is located in the coastal zone, approximately 2.4 miles north of Manchester, lying on the east side of State Route 1, approximately 0.9 miles north of its intersection with Alder Creek Beach Road. It is addressed at 16401 South Highway 1 in Manchester. Assessor parcel number 132-18018. And I see we have the staff planner, Keith Grondike, here. Do we have anyone else on the line or in the room?
We have someone in the room.
Steve Geist, working for Telespan, that I can answer any questions.
Thank you, Steve.
And just, I think Keith would probably say that one of the reasons that why I got continued is it went from a monopine to a mono-eucalyptus design for concealment to match the existing tree line, and the tower's been reduced in height.
And I understand that the location itself has changed slightly?
In a minor amount, it moved closer to the tree line. Just,
Okay.
not a significant amount.
If I might chime in, it's about 66 feet to the west of where it was originally located.
And all that area was part of the previous survey, correct?
Yeah, it was assessed, part of the utility route and general foot walkover, and Carolyn Losey, who did the assessment earlier this year, reviewed it and confirmed that it was assessed, and she provided an update, 2-page update letter that her findings have not changed.
Okay, thank you. Okay, commissioners, any questions, planning staff or Mr. Geist regarding this project or comments?
I never got that packet in my, I mean, I got the packet, but that wasn't in there. Did, Lois, have you,
I did
do you
email
have
it too.
the Pomo village map from Barrett? Can you look and see where this is near any of those village sites?
Lois, while you're looking, may I ask Keith, the Grondike planner, to explain why this item was continued and brought back to today's hearing?
Keith Gronendijk, I believe because the Steve Geist, the representative, couldn't make the October meeting.
Okay.
No,
Or was that?
well, it was continued because we reduced the height and changed the
Okay.
visual aspect, and then I wanted Carolyn to look at it since it moved.
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Were you advised to lower the height? Is that,
We, to better match in with the existing,
That's what I recommend.
yeah,
tree
I was
line.
wondering about that,
yeah.
because it would really stick out in that area.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be a eucalyptus tree now instead of a pine tree.
Yeah. So before it would have been a little more obvious, and we, Telespan agreed that a loftier,
Okay, I'm just curious, thank you.
yeah.
And the recommendation, the recommendation, go ahead.
What is the letter from the Northwest Information Center? What does it say?
It's a letter,
Last page.
So Carolyn did the Chris research herself, and she came up with 7, there's no known resources in the area, there's no reports located in the project area, there are 7 reference reports that she looked at, and so her finding was that this is a higher level site due to its location, and she recommended an archaeological monitor be present during excavation activities.
Instead of a monopine.
and this is primarily for historic resources? So
Well-
she mentions the Lawson Biaggi Ranch.
Correct, yeah. The ranch has been there since 1915. Where this is going, this is more of a livestock pen, water. There's a house there, and there are barns. It's not to say that Native American resources aren't there, but there are none known, right? But it's probably because it's been private property for a number of years, and I think the nearest one was a half mile away, and there were some items found, and I think that's why she didn't want to write this off, and her recommendation was to have a monitor present, archaeological monitor.
Yeah.
I think it's the right thing to do. Really is. I'm familiar with some of the names in here. Well, my father knew them.
Steve, sorry, just to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, the survey recommended that an archaeological monitor be present, right?
Yes, qualified archaeologists be present to monitor all ground disturbing activities associated with the project.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so there we have it.
There we have it. And I will make a motion then to accept the survey for project number U20230005 with the condition of approval that an archaeological monitor be present during ground disturbing activity. Is there a second?
Second.
I was
Thank
getting
you,
ready.
Lois.
No, it's okay.
Lois? Okay. Okay, then roll call. Museum representative. Aye. Archaeologist representative.
Aye.
Native American representative.
Aye.
Alternate representative.
Aye.
And PBS is also a yes. Survey is accepted with the condition of approval that an archaeological monitor be present during ground disturbing activities. Thank you, Mr. Geis.
Thank you.
Whew, thank you for waiting.
This is one of our longest ones.
Alrighty.
Oh, look at that.
Moving on then to matters from staff. I have a couple. One is to report that we're still working on Brian Mudge from Chris to come in and speak with the commission. Can you hear me, Lois?
What?
We're still working to get Brian Mudge in to speak with the commissioners. So we'll have more information on that.
Okay, thank you.
And then the second item is that I will be leaving the commission as PBS representative, and Planner Keith Grondike, who is there in the room, will be the new Planning and Building Services representative. So beginning next month, Keith will be working with you on all agenda items.
That's too bad. You come in and say goodbye in person.
I will. And
then moving on then to item number 6, which is matters from commission. Any matters from the commission?
There's a chance I won't be here in January.
Okay.
It's not fixed, but
Mark, what will Mark, what will you be doing?
I am going to be interim senior planner for mostly the Fort Bragg office. That's why I'm calling from here today. So I'll be splitting my time between Ukiah and Fort Bragg.
Oh, okay. And then is the new guy, is he present today?
I'm here.
Keith, you want to wave and introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Here. Oh, there we go.
Wait, which guy? Is that?
That's me. I'm right here.
Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. Hello, Keith, thank you.
Hi.
Keith comes from a big planning background. Keith, you want to tell them a little bit about where?
I've been doing planning for 23 years. I did planning for City of Napa for 6.5 and Lake County for the duration of the rest of that. I was on the Historical Preservation Committee in the City of Napa, and I worked with the Archaeological Commission up in Lake County presenting projects, so
Good.
I have some background.
Yeah, good, good. We'll keep him.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you.
Good.
What's that archaeologist up there? I can't think of his name. He's out of Clear Lake. Anyway, I'll think of it.
Okay.
associated with the county?
No, he has his own private firm.
Oh.
It's right there.
Merry Christmas.
Will adjourn the December 13th Archaeological Commission meeting at 4:34 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody. It was really great working with you.
Thank you, bye-bye.
So what?
He's got a promotion.
Yeah, interim, which means it's temporary.
Where's
Oh.
he going now?
He's out.
He's floating. Yeah, partial here and partial there.
I know where their office is.
It was like our
That is
longest
not very
one, I
nice.
think.
He didn't tell us and he did it long distance.